excuse me, go ahead.
I think there were two actions that we were discussing that would need to be taken if we would help you to move forward. And the one was to allow you to do like use the word study, would you?
Needs assessment.
Needs assessment.
Yes.
Needs assessment. And that might be to the tune of $40,000 to $50,000?
I was in contact with the consultant this morning who, again, this is all telephone bidding, telephone quotes, but we're talking between $45,000 and $50,000 for the 911 center assessment. And the alternate PSAP would be a separate item, and that would cost us up to $20,000, and that would be based upon the assessment of 3 individual locations of our choice. So if we were to say, look, we want to do a cost analysis or a cost comparison between putting it here, here, and here, that $20,000 would cover the assessment, and basically what I've already tried to do with my preliminary figures in terms of connectivity and what you'd have to do to accomplish that.
And there was some leftover funding that you might be able to get applied to this?
We have, first off, I want to clarify the fact that I've not approached FEMA about doing this. We have about $70,000 in Act 56 money that we were unable to spend this year for various reasons. In many of the situations we required matching funds or matching monies that we just weren't able to get into the budget, things like that. It would be my request to the commissioners and my intentions to approach FEMA, okay, and attempt to get some of that money reallocated towards this needs assessment. Now, that having been said, the fact that we've got $70,000 unspent there, the needs assessment under Act 56 would only be permitted with regard to the wireless side of our 911 center, okay? In other words, 56 money is wireless money, so everything you use it for has to be on a wireless,
How would that
wireless.
affect the backup?
How would it?
Yeah.
It would affect the backup the same as it would affect our PSAP primarily, okay? Because we've got about 60.
So you couldn't justify 100% of the stuff?
No, I can't. No, I can't. But we could justify possibly 60% of that money. Or I should say that request, or we can request the whole amount.
Well, I'd like done, the first step is to contact FEMA.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first
FEMA, I think the first step here is to contact FEMA and to see what, if any, funds are available through the Act 56 to do either of these studies or both. And I think we should just, pending the outcome of that, decide whether or not we want to spend money on a study at this time. More than one consultant, and like I said yesterday, I think you need to try to find consultants that don't work for companies that also build these things. I know you said that's hard to do, and I don't doubt that it is, but I think we need to do that. We got to open this up so that more than one bidder can bid on doing the work if in fact we go ahead and do, bid this project out or let this project out, and go ahead with it as far as doing this
needs assessment.
Thank you. So
Takes it off the table in terms of needs assessment. We're bound to that system. CAD is another expensive item that we're bound to. We recently made a big investment in that, and it's working well for us. So it's not something that has to be a part of that assessment. The new telephone switch that was recently approved, the purchase which was approved by the commissioners, is off the switch, or off the table in terms of the needs assessment. So I guess.
Well, what's on the table then? It seems like we took everything off.
Staffing, physical equipment, console, call volume, how we might address that call volume, what our anticipated call volume increase is going to be.
like he said yesterday, he's looking at a 5 or 10 year down the road thing.
Right. It's not something that's.
But initially, to have a backup, and this is where you want both assessments. What we have now is the manual transference, and what we just approved the minutes for and approved last week, and I signed a contract on, was for the switch, and we can do it instantaneously. If he has to go down there right now, well, we don't have it installed yet, but once it's installed.
Because there, as it's explained to me, this needs assessment would address our needs 5, 10, 15 years down the road. I believe you heard, the planning come in here earlier and said that you have to have a current plan to be eligible for certain funding. The same situation applies for us downstairs. If we'd be looking for some kind of funding opportunities at some point in the future, we would have a plan or a needs assessment to hang our hat on and say, these are the needs of our community, of our 911 center, this is why, and then these are the circumstances, and this is who would be.
But then we do, I'll tell you why it will, because it's in the PA code. The formula's in the PA code, unless they change the PA code as to how many consoles they need for how many calls, it's not gonna change.
That when we have a flood or a blizzard or something like that, that we don't have enough telephone lines downstairs, and a backup PSAPs would expand your capability to be able to operate from 2 sites. So I really want to move forward with this, and if that means exactly, I can see where some 911 funds could qualify with that scenario.
$1,000 in Act 56 money that's going to go away if we don't use it.
That's correct.
And I thought you were headed toward using or requesting to use that, as much of that as you could, toward a needs assessment of the PSAP, Public Service Answering Point, primary and backup.
But that's what
Needs
he's,
assessment.
that's what he's talking about.
Now I've heard it evolve into a needs assessment just for an alternate and look for other sources of funding, not Act 56?
No,
Because he's saying.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
That there's, you know, at most 60% of it based on call volume being wireless, 60% wireless calls. 60% of that money at most would be able to go toward this needs assessment. So
And knows and Pima knows the wireless calls keep going up and the other keep, the hard wire goes down. But from my perspective, what you said is what we're supposed, let him contact Pima to find out what is available for both studies.
Given was a list of like 10 or 12 grants that Casey, I was on that conference call, and they gave specific areas that we could tap into funding. And I
In this meeting, that Kimball does facilitate the grant procedure process between any agency and some of those grant applications that you mentioned. Kimball already kind of got, they're the ones that help Pima facilitate the Act 56 process.
For a second to the motion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll second, go ahead.
I'd like to make I know you have.
First say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now you know what to do. Thank you.